Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everybody. This is Mike at Your Car Dealer Bond. Thanking you again for tuning into the Your Car Dealer podcast. I am on my way home right now from the Independent Auto Dealer Association conference. They have it twice a year. They give a lot of information for used car dealers that I think is very helpful. There's quite a bit of fluff in between a lot of it. They bring you know what, truth be told, I'm going to be very straightforward with, and as I've always been, I've always been straightforward with this group. And today's no different. Investigations. This is the division that investigates, fraud activity, claim, so if you're shady, you're doing shady things, selling cars without smogging them or doing shady stuff, not giving people refunds, or if there's complaints that are coming down the pipeline, these guys get involved and they'll go and investigate. This is not the inspector. This is very different than your local inspector who works to get your paperwork for licensing reasons. So they're helping you with pre-licensing. They're helping you with your renewal of your license, that type of thing. They may deal with you here and there for things. Maybe if you've got a fine that you haven't paid, you might hear from your inspector. But more often than not, you're going to actually hear from an investigator. Of course, they're saying that their move is first educate, then to warn. They want to warn second, and then to turn around and come through and say, okay, now we're going to fine, or we're going to reprimand, or we're going to enforce is the word they use. So that's their sequence. Is first they're going to come in to try to warn the dealer, or try to educate the dealer as to here's what you did wrong, here's what you should be doing, here's what you better be doing next time I come to visit, and I'm not telling you when I'm coming. And then next time they go to check up on you, you better have your ducks in order. And typically they're going to see two types of birds at that point. The bird that says, yeah, you know what? I've mended my wicked ways. I see the light. This is definitely not something I want to mess with. I'm on the straight and narrow. I am definitely changing this so that I don't end up in any kind of problem. That's one type of dealer. And then there's another dealer that cleans his act up for a short period of time and then goes back to his wicked ways once they feel like the inspector or the investigators satisfied, and they eventually go back to doing what they were doing before they got them in trouble. And eventually those guys get found out sometimes years later, but there's a lot of times and there's a lot of information to suggest that eventually musical chairs comes to a screeching halt, let's just say. So anyway, the investigation started off with the investigation guys kind of doing their dog and pony show. And boy, I gotta tell you, man, these guys, they won't give you a straight answer. We had dealers asking very specific, straightforward questions, and every time these jokers were sitting there jiving, that's an interesting question. Well, it's kind of a loaded answer. Well, I gotta really clarify a few things that, I really could tell you yes, no, and maybe so. I don't know. That was this guy's answer, this one answer. He said yes, no, and maybe so. That's exactly what he said. This guy's a joke. Joke. That was a joke, man. I can't believe it. And a typical politician type, typical weak sauce answer that a bureaucrat can give when they work for. It reminded me of when I worked for that large insurance company. As the actual carrier, it's not an agency. It reminded me of that because you could never get a straight answer really from about a lot of different things. Like you say, well, would this claim be covered? Well, you know what? In most cases, it would. There's some rare instances where it wouldn't be covered. And then, of course, when you're coming back to file the claim, this is one of those rare instances where it actually wouldn't be covered for some reason. And man, you could. I remember sitting in a meeting one time. This is with the director. This is with the director of operations, the chairman of the board, the entire executive team, the C-suite of the CFO, chief risk officer, all of these different executives. Everybody's in there. President of the company asked the vice president of sales and marketing. He asked, we had developed a plan of attack for the following year. That's what we were doing. We were developing a plan of attack for the following year. Certain targets. It was something like an 8 to 9% growth, and we're talking about a $300 million a year insurance company. So I think we were targeting something like 8.9% growth for the year. And so you can't just tell the boss what numbers you think you're going to end up with. Now you got to go and justify them. Here's how we're going to get there. We're going to get 1.2% growth here. We're going to go and get 0.6% growth here. We're going to get 2.4% growth here. We're going to get 1.9% growth here, and so on and so forth, up to that point. And so we lay all this out. Here's the result we're going to get. Here are the steps we're going to take to ensure that we have actually set ourselves up to succeed. All right, here are the steps. Here's the marketing plan that we have to be able to execute this. We've designed this. We've talked to the sales team. We've been talking to the underwriting team. We've been talking to the claims team. We've been talking to IT, and they can support this. Certain projects that need to happen for these targets to be met. So we've done that due diligence, and these are stretch goals. At the same time, we do think they're achievable. So we do our dog and pony show. We're out there slanging and explaining to. This is the vice president of product development. This is who I would report to as the director of nationwide operations for commercial and power sports insurance lines. So I would end up having to go and report to this guy and say, here's what we're going to do here. Here's how we're going to do it here. So we go and present our side. The sales and the vice president of sales and marketing gets to him, and the president's asking him, do you think with 80% certainty we can get to this number? And he says, to these numbers that these guys in product development have established for us. He says, looks good. I really do think we got a really good shot at it. I think it's a good thing. You know what? I support what they're doing. I looked at it. It does look very achievable. He says, no, but does it look like we will achieve this if you had to bet on this? Well, this is really, really big. A lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of people, a lot of things that got to go right for us to actually achieve this. I got a lot of confidence in the people around us. We got a great team. We've obviously done some due diligence. We got the wind at our back. By all means, everything looks like it's our. No. What I want from you, sir, is a straight answer. Yes or no. Do you think this went 5 different? He asked him 5 flipping times, man. I was there in person. I wasn't on the phone. This wasn't through Skype. I was there in person. This is a vice president of sales and marketing. Had been the vice president of sales and marketing for the last 20 years. This was a brand new president of the company who had just come on board. They'd just gotten rid of almost the entire executive team, or half of it, I should say. They cut the 2 presidents out. They replaced them with the new president. This was the new president, and this was the answers he was getting of the company. This is exactly what was going on. fifth time, he finally says, "You're not going to give me a straight answer, are you?" He says, "No, I'm not." You finally picked up on it, huh? He just would not for the life of him answer this question of, are we going to get to these numbers with 80% certainty, yes or no? And he could not for the life of him pull himself together to actually give an answer, because then he was committed to something. And if something went wrong eventually, and if we didn't get to those numbers, he could still weasel his way out. I never said we were going to get there. I said all this other shit that whatever, but I never said that. That's exactly what these clowns, I say all that to say that that's exactly what these clowns sounded like today. The investigation part, there was a couple of decent nuggets, but nothing like what these guys should be talking about as DMV. They were talking about, some things, make sure, like, you're supposed to go and Google this guy and see if he comes up with a different phone number than he gave you. That's what he said. This guy was saying, yeah, man, there, all the times that we go and investigate stuff, there were red lights everywhere. There were flashing red lights that the dealer just said, forget it. Let's, instead of slowing this deal down, let's speed it up. How fast can we do it? Because this guy's talking about he's going to bring his friends to buy cars too. Right? So, obviously, absolutely great point. You gotta really watch the fraud when they're buying when you're selling these cars, because if somehow, some way, the guy isn't who he says he is and has proof. He's got a driver's license. It looks like a driver's license, and it says a certain name on there, and then he's out there buying cars, and that obviously can be very difficult to find. Although I did find a vendor today, connected with the vendor that actually does a great job of being able to identify identity fraud. Matter of fact, you guys want the drop on that, you guys are going to have to slide into those DMs. Your car dealer bond, I'm going to say it again, Your Car Dealer Bond on either Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. You guys hit me there. That'd probably be easiest. Any one of those platforms you guys run, Your Car Dealer Bond there. It's a really great application. A really great little app that I think you can even access through your phone or, obviously your computer, but will give you access to really seeing insights on making sure these people are who they say they are. Because if somehow, some way you end up putting together financing or selling, putting together financing for this guy based on this information, and he's identity thefting somebody in the process, it's going to be difficult if he's got his name on everything consistently, to really decipher that, hey, this isn't the guy, right? How are you supposed to figure that out? Right. So one of the things he was saying is Google their name real fast and see if that number comes up, and if it's not the same number, then bells should be going off in your brain, and yeah, I get that. Where's that in the code? Where's that in your guys' pre-licensing information? Where's that the inspector ever mentioned? I think it is a good, worthwhile practice to do as best practices, since it's only going to take you, 20 seconds to figure out if there is. But then again, you got a name like Adam Roberts, or I don't know, Robert Garcia, is going to be a difficult find, and you're going to come up with a lot of different information, which is to say that you shouldn't spend more than 30 seconds total on this thing. But all said and done, this guy's whole point was, he beat this thing for about 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes probably, and just talking about, kind of run-of-the-mill. It was, a lot of it was, when it got to the Q&A, that's what really pissed me off, is because he didn't answer not one single question straight. Not one. Not a single question did he answer with exact certainty about anything that was even marginally in the gray area. Which obviously, not a great experience if you're on the other side of that looking for information, straightforward information that you can look for and say, here, don't do this because you're going to get investigated, or you're overstepping where you should be, or don't do this. You'd rather be able to say that than, I don't know, yes, no, and maybe so. I swear I haven't heard that since I was at least my son's age, and he's 10. Man, I couldn't believe this guy was, and he was proud of his answer. I know there's gray area, but not everything is exactly that gray of an area to where you can't, you can't get a possible straightforward answer at all. And don't get me wrong, I appreciated the fact that they have these people there. It's just they should really be dropping some of that sick insight that really helps you guys, and have handouts and have all this tangible, detailed information that you guys can really use to keep yourselves out of hot water. And as a matter of fact, so I talked to a few people today at this convention. It's the California Independent Auto Dealers Association. I know there was a national convention recently, and theirs is a lot, I think it's a lot different. In some respects, I want to deal with the state that I'm in for the most part when it comes to certain information like what they're giving, because what they're doing is giving you compliance tips. They're trying to keep you in sync. Some of it's federal law, but a lot of it's local law. So if a lot of dealers, we've got 1,200 car dealers in California that we give a bond to. If, there's a lot of dealers that we write bonds for, not give a bond to, but that's who our client database is on an annual basis of how many bonds we have in force. There's over 1,200 of them in California alone. So what is that kind of, once you kind of break it down, you can kind of get a sense of the numbers. And even though there's quite a bit of attrition in the business, we still pick up tons of the brand new dealers that really are just looking for good information, and the DMV is just simply not helpful in this regard. As a matter of fact, this is the truth. I had a conversation today, and I will, you know what? I usually, and you guys have heard my podcast, I usually am talking shit about the inspectors. Although I do have a long laundry list of the ones that are good. You guys have heard it. Put Medrano, put Pardoza. Pardoza's awesome. There's Wells. There's a few of these that are really stick out characters. And then there's a couple of them that are just riffraff and as inconsistent and uneducated and uninterested in their job as possible. And they're the ones that are trying to make your guys' life hell, because it's either their way or the highway. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. So the ladies I talked to today, there was two of them. You guys are going to enjoy this. We actually, so I caught one of them outside. This was the chief. I will say nothing more besides, here's her card. She is the branch chief so she's in charge of basically the operation, right? The DMV operation in several respects. She's the tippy tops. It doesn't get any higher than her in the food chain. She still has a team of people that she has to go back, and there's other divisions within the DMV, like their legal team. Of course, they've got their own accounting division, but overall, this is really one of the pillars of the DMV. And this lady, the branch chief, and I were talking for a few minutes, and I was telling her some of the problems that exist with the bond, the surety bond. The fact that there's no expiration date means that there's this long 30-day process that needs to happen. And because the DMV is so behind in their processing, there's a massive delay in the reinstatement notice that then has to get processed by them. And in the meantime, it leaves the dealer in harm's way with their inspector, because headquarters doesn't know that their bond's renewed, but the local inspector wants tangible proof and wants it yesterday that this bond is still alive. So, or where's the replacement for it, right? If this bond is not renewed because this company said they were canceling it, then where's the new bond, right? And if you don't have it by this Friday, you're out of business. Or this, and they love it. This is the ones that I'm telling you guys that are good. Bartosa, Madrano, the reason why I'm telling you that they're kick-ass is because they don't go and say, hey man, I'm going to put you out of business ASAP. You don't have this on my desk by this day, and FedEx to me, and it's got to be the original, which I know your company's not going to want to give you, but you're going to have to get it anyway, somehow, some way. None of that matters. I need to have it by Friday. Even though your carrier, you paid this a month ago, you're showing me the receipt you paid it, you're showing me the copy of the reinstatement notice that was sent to headquarters. I get all of that. What I need is the original in my hand, and if I don't get it, you're out of business on Friday. Now what? You know how many inspectors there are in California that's their tone, and that's their exact message? And you fuckers that are out there that are, this is going to be a little sick bird on this one, I'm sorry, but you fuckers that are out there doing that, your number's getting called soon. You're going to get exposed real soon, and I hope you guys know. The more you guys explain to me what's happening, I'm going to be able to run it up the pipeline, because I've got a direct conduit now to the head of the DMV, because I explained where this problem that they set up not only for you guys, but it requires now them to have this big paper chase, right, of reacting to a notice of cancellation and then having to then process a notice of reinstatement. And there's actual keystrokes that they're creating for themselves, and all of this extra heartache. So all of that to say that she's like, you know what, this is exactly what I've been looking at right now. We're trying to fix this problem and other problems just like it, but this low-hanging fruit of what we can fix really quick that makes sense and really puts us in a good position to make improvements. And she just took over the deal a couple of years ago, so I know where she's at. She's trying to do big things. She's trying to clean up old problems. I get it. I wasn't beating her up. I'm just telling you, here's what you guys could do, and you guys actually should be doing it for your own sake. But these dealers are really harmed in the process also when you have these cavalier inspectors that come through and are talking, it's my way or the highway, and it better happen yesterday or by no later than Friday, or you're out of business. And if you sell another car in that period of time, you're out of compliance. Each one that you drop is a separate fine, by the way. And I hope you don't like it. That's the way they do it. These guys are chicken shit. All because nobody's been looking over their shoulder. So here's what I told her. I said, so I walked them through this whole thing. She said, I gotta cut out of here, but you know what? I'll be back. Or she didn't even tell me that. She just said, I gotta get out of here, but thank you. Here's my card. I'm really interested in this. She took I gave her my card, and boom, we were on our way. I'm sitting down 10 minutes later, just finished lunch. She taps me on the shoulder, and she's got another head of the DMV right there, who's not been there 2 years and is now a pillar in the DMV. This is an actual veteran, 25, 30-year veteran of the business in the DMV high level, the high level folks at the DMV that are actually making decisions. She actually got an award today for her service to the DMV and to the industry and all this other stuff. But and I won't tell you this lady's name either, not to blow her off. If you guys were there, you guys obviously, you guys may have met her. But this lady, she calls me. They get me, and she's like, "Here, I want you to talk to this lady and explain everything, because I want, I told her some of my background about what, in my prior life, what I used to do. And she's like, she's like, I get the fact that you know all this. And I told her, I said, this is the way other states do it. Guess what? Oregon does it this way. Louisiana has a really sweet deal where they all expire this day. Every bond expires that day. And then they all start again that day. It makes it real simple for the DMV. And there's these other processes that have been put in place. Said, but here's the jib, is that these things have the expiration date. That's all you guys need on this thing, is the expiration date. And to make it this all possible. So anyway, long story short is that we went back and forth, and the lady's like, well, our legal team told us this. I said, listen, here's all you guys got to do. You guys got to change one thing, and that would be that. And so she's like, okay, great. We'll keep in touch on this, and I definitely want to make some progress on it, and I really appreciate. And I got the sense that she was already. I told her, you know what? It seems like, because to me, actions speak louder than words, number one. But you already took action. You could have talked to me 10 minutes ago, and there it is. You disappear like the other 4 people from the DMV at a high level that I've spoken to in the past about this. I said, but you came back, and you came back with somebody else to help you even get your arms around this more, to think of if this is something that you guys can actually do. And that to me shows that you wanted to take action. So, I do appreciate that, and I will be looking for more action. And you can bet I'm on your side, and anything you need from me, that'll be that. And so she's like, yeah, this is awesome. I love it. I really want to work this out. Let's figure this out. I said, yeah, because I hate making podcast episodes about you guys and about how horribly you guys keep dropping the ball. I said, but I will keep doing it. And the Your Car Dealer podcast, you can catch on Spotify. You can catch it on iTunes, your iTunes, your Apple Store, your Google Play Store, or your radio.coms of the world. All of that. Your Car Dealer Bun. We got over 8,000 downloads now of this podcast, and I'm telling you, I told her this. I told both of them this. This is the truth. I'm going to tell you guys this. I told them both one of my most popular episodes of this podcast and of my YouTube channel is, and I'm going to tell you the title, Does the DMV Hate Used Car Dealers? I said, and because of the actions that you guys have been taking, some of your cavalier inspectors have been taking with these dealers, some of that has led me to believe, and the fact that you guys don't give any information to the dealers on how to protect themselves, how to educate themselves, and none of this stuff, how to reduce their liability. I mean, you guys aren't providing dick. I said, this is, and I kept it real, but I gotta be honest with you guys, and the lady goes, no, we don't hate used car dealers. The second lady in charge goes, we don't hate used car dealers. I said, oh, I get it. You don't hate used car dealers, but your operation is putting dealers in a position to really, really think that you guys got the deck stacked against them. And I get it. There's challenges that you guys have at the top level. I said, but you guys now have an opportunity to actually improve this thing. You guys have, I'm talking to you guys. and I'm going to keep talking shit. But I will say this. And just like I said last time with that piece of shit inspector that I talked about, that one, it was a couple podcasts ago, there was a certain inspector that was telling, she didn't care what happened to this dealer. She was busting chops. She didn't care about the law. She didn't care about researching the law nor asking her boss about it. And she was just real willing to put this dealer out of business. And I put her name all over, like 2 podcasts ago maybe. And I'm going to continue to do it. I told them both that I'm going to continue to spread the word. It's going to be good. It's going to be sexy. Everybody's going to keep hearing about your guys' woes unless you guys get it together. And I will help you to the extent I definitely can. I'll dedicate. I will donate. You guys let me know what I got to do. But I'm in it for the long haul because I want to see these dealers succeed. We got 8,000 downloads of who? Not gardeners. I know gardeners downloading the Your Car Dealer podcast. And so by all means, you guys let me know, and I'm willing to invest in this process and in helping you guys fix some of the issues that you guys have. So to the extent that you guys continue to see this stuff on the front lines, this is it, baby. We've never actually had a conduit. We've never had inroads. I know people that know people at the DMV, and I know some people at the DMV, but not the kind of people that can make this stuff happen. Not the people that can have me sitting down or talking over the phone with bureau chiefs or with the legal team for the DMV that really will help you guys kind of iron out without having to change laws. We don't want to change any laws. but there's certain things that are being interpreted very differently than they could be interpreted, or could be amended to be, and to clarify certain things. And we've done that. I've done this at a big level already. I work for a $300 million a year insurance company. You know how many transactions that was? And I oversaw hundreds of thousands of them in my time. You have to understand there's a scale that you have to understand also, because it's not just like they got 5 people working there. It's not like they got 20 people working there. There's a lot of bureaucratic red tape between me and those people. For that matter, for you guys are only on the business end of that relationship with the DMV, because I was telling them, hey, listen, I work Department of Insurance, where I understand a lot of this stuff that has to be done to appease bureaucracy. But those guys are so much cleaner and slicker. I mean, these guys are it, man. Like, really, really big time. And they do it beautifully, on time, as clean as can be. There are very few mistakes that these guys make in comparison to the Department of Motor Vehicles. Woo! Those guys are something levels, man. Those guys are getting teabagged all day. But I'm telling you, give big props to those 2 gals that may be able to be the start of things starting to change around. And I'll continue to keep you guys posted to the extent that they don't mind. If they tell me, hey man, we'd rather you stop talking shit on certain things, or, we'll let you in on this process, but you can't be talking about it on your podcast, I'll respect that. That stuff I can't share. If I want to affect change in a positive way for you guys, I can't. I gotta keep it tight-lipped along the way for certain things. Just like there's a massive project I'm working on right now. I gotta keep it tight-lipped, man. Part of what I was doing this weekend was part of that whole process of finalizing a big piece of this big, huge project I've been working on. So it's not like I can't be tight-lipped about something too.
And that is part 1 of this 2-part episode that I'm breaking up. It's all about content that I had gathered from the Independent Auto Dealer Association Conference of California. I'll be sharing my thoughts in part 2 on some of the more specific things that I got. That was a really, really good part of the second half of the day. They always save the best for last, and this guy for sure stole the show. So I've got some of my thoughts there. You'll get some insight on what those things are on the next part 2 of my experience at the Independent Auto Dealer Association of California. They do this thing twice a year. So this is the year-end convention. So anyway, here's some thoughts on that. Thanks again for tuning in, telling friends, and we'll have this thing up by this weekend so that you guys can get some more content here. And then we've got some content already built so that we can, it's already developed for the most part. We've just got to edit it a little bit, throw some tags and things like that on it, and get it out to you guys. So I'm really trying to ramp up how much information we're able to distill down to you folks. And again, if there's any way that you guys see it fit, by all means, let's connect in social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you are already at. I want to meet you there. Your Car Dealer Bond is our handle on any of those. Your Car Dealer Bond, and it's on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We've got 50 videos or so. If you put in Your Car Dealer Bond into your search engine on YouTube, you're going to find some of the content that we've created over the years. Some of it a little bit shorter in content, 7-minute videos, 15-minute videos, but really all geared to doing the same thing, helping used car dealers really succeed and thrive in this new age. So you guys take care out there. Have a great week, and keep slanging them cars.